Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever or whenever you may be watching this video. This is the one Bry Guy slash Zilly Burple. And well, I feel like it's time for me to do another video. It's the middle of the week, and the NFL trade deadline has come and gone, and that was originally going to be my focus until this came to light just recently. In fact, it's probably been the talk of the sports world, social media, YouTube, sports YouTubers all over. About 6 hours ago, hell, maybe 7 hours, or just recently it was updated an hour ago. You all know the current owner of the Washington Commanders, the formerly known Washington football team, the formerly known Washington Redskins. Their, for now, current owner, Dan Snyder, we all know there is no love lost for this man, and that he is one of the most, if not the most, despicable, most detested piece of shit of a human being slash sports owner in all the world. In fact, USA Today is quoted saying that he is the worst sports owner in all of sports. That's fucking saying something. I mean, ever since this guy purchased what was then the Washington Redskins back in 1999, he has done nothing to make this team relevant, to make this team competitive. I mean, they've only won 2 playoff games, and one of them was under Joe Gibbs. You even had the legendary Joe Gibbs come out of retirement for a second stint at coaching a team that he helped turn into in pretty much a dynasty throughout the 80s and the early 90s, and he couldn't do anything with his team under Snyder. So that's saying something right there. I mean, my dear God. But anyway, not to get too far off track. So basically, if you don't already know, I've read several articles online, 2 noteworthy. Sports Illustrated by Albert Breer and CNBC.com, Alex Sherman and Jessica Golden. All of them saying that Forbes has stated that Dan Snyder is potentially looking to sell the Washington Commanders football organization. I almost couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? Apparently, there's enough shit on this guy's name with the NFL's lead investigator, Mary Jo White, also with the House Oversight Committee, looking into the sexual harassment allegations as well as potential financial misconduct. Yeah. So I love in the one article, I think it was CNBC.com, saying that Dan Snyder is not being forced to sell the team. Well, I don't know. After reading all about that, it sounds like he's not only being forced, but his hands are tied behind his back and he's being force-fed his own shit, which is more than he fucking deserves. I mean, my God. I mean, I'm a diehard Philadelphia Eagles fan, but I have felt so bad for the Washington football fans and what they've had to endure the past 2 decades. They've had glimpses, but that's just it, because as long as Snyder's been the owner, it's never been able to evolve into anything. This guy has either ruined or altered so many good coaches, so many good people, players in their lives, that, that alone should be criminal enough for the NFL to have had to step in and tell him to get the fuck out. Like, all the other teams in the NFC East are still relevant. Like the Giants, they've had their ups and downs, but they've at least won 2 Super Bowls these past 2 decades. The Cowboys haven't really done anything meaningful in the past 3 decades, but they're still, if not the most popular franchise in all of sports, and yet still continue to at least do something relevant. Again, still waiting for them to, get over that hump of getting back to the NFC Championship. And then there are my Eagles, who pretty much you can say have been the kings of the NFC East since the new millennia began. I mean, granted, the Giants have won 2 more Super Bowls, but the Eagles have won the most division titles in the past 2 decades, have finally gotten their first Super Bowl win. So it's like, yeah, like the other 3 teams have been doing just fine, and yet there's Washington that's the overall shit stain on the bottom of the, fucking bottom of the drawers. So rejoice, Washington Commander fans, former Redskins fans. You will soon be free and rid of this inhumane person. Wow. Apparently, what he's being investigated for, it's gotta be real. If it's serious enough that all the other owners are saying, listen, for the sake of the NFL, and we have enough shit stains on this shield as it is, we need to get this guy out of here. And we gotta bring in someone that's gonna turn this thing around really quick and make it back into a respectable organization. Speaking of which, Forbes has listed like almost all the potential buyers that are lined up to want to purchase the Washington D.C. pro football team. That's a fucking mouthful. But I'm not going to get into all of them because there were a lot, and most of them, surprisingly, are co-NBA owners. And a lot of them have had their hand in trying to purchase the Broncos organization when it was up for sale. Why, I don't know, but I guess wherever the money is. But one owner I decided to write down that made the most, or one potential buyer I decided to write down that I thought kind of made the most sense to me as the most intriguing is Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. He's from that area. That would make sense to me. He's from the area. I don't know if he's a diehard Washington sports fan, but like I said, Ed, I think that would work best for the NFL because the guy's clearly loaded. You could name the stadium the new stadium, Amazon Stadium. Amazon Prime is hosting that's it. Amazon Prime is live streaming the Thursday Night Football now. So I think this would be a match made in heaven, mostly for the NFL, because again, it's the Amazon founder. This guy's fucking loaded. And I think for like the DC football fans, like at this point, anything would be better than fucking Dan Snyder. Like, Jesus God, like anything left behind by the Snyder family, just, make a bonfire and burn it all. Like, forever bury this legacy and like pretend it never happened. Like when Hitler ruled Germany. Like, it's unfair for me to say Dan Snyder is that wicked and despicable, but he is. And all the shit that former female employees have been coming forward with, it's like, how the fuck does a guy like this look at himself in the mirror and live? It's just unfucking real. But hopefully soon, Washington fans, it'll all be over. I mean, granted, he's not doing it out of the kindness of his own heart. Like, he's literally being chokehold to do it. But still, if there's like one decent thing that Dan Snyder can do, it's selling the team. And hope to God, maybe to Jeff Bezos. I mean, is it going to say he'll be better? I mean, he can't be worse, right? I mean, we can say that now, and God knows what, another 2 decades, shit'll be coming out about him and Amazon. Well, shit's already coming out about Amazon, at least the warehouse, and what a hellhole it is to work there. Like, you can't even take a fucking piss break. I'm like, what? I was like, if I gotta pee, I gotta pee. Like, I don't give a damn what the fucking story is. But that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother time. So, let me just get a drink here. I'm getting parched. Oh, yeah. So, like I said, if you want to look up more about it for yourselves, again, there's the Sports Illustrated article by Albert Breer, as well as CNBC.com, tag team by Alex Sherman and Jessica Golden. And, there's also a timeline by The Sporting News, an entire timeline about how Dan Snyder has taken a once respectable organization, well known throughout the sporting world, and how he just drove it right into the fucking ground. Yet still, the Washington pro football team, I refuse to call them the Commanders because it's a ridiculous name. And I tell you what, should Jeff Bezos or whoever they get to take over as the new owner, I think they should just completely remarket that franchise. Find a more suitable nickname, because Commanders is a joke. Everybody's calling them the commies. You don't want that. And, everybody in this country is already iffy and scared of communism enough as it is. The last thing you want is a team that's nicknamed the Commies. I know we got a team that's called the Cincinnati Reds, but still, I mean, the original full name was Red Stockings, so they could get away with it. But Commies, come on, we can do better. I get the theme, because of the President of the United States, which is also known as the Commander-in-Chief. So I get it. Commanders does kind of work, but you need to market it better. Like, get a different color scheme, okay? The maroon and gold, that was the Washington Redskins. Put it to rest. Come up with something completely different. So what if you copy off of the Wizards and the Capitals and the Nationals and you go with a red, white, and blue color scheme? It would make sense. You're the capital of the United States of America. You might as well just embrace it. Because maroon and gold, yeah, those are communist colors. The former USSR. That had to have come up at some point. So remarket the team. I think that would probably be the best course of action. What happened to that Red Wolves nickname? Last I heard, I thought that was the leading candidate. And what, they gave up on it because of some sort of copyright bullshit? Like, Red Wolves is not a common nickname that you hear around the world. Unless it is around that area, like some kind of local college or high school team. But again, come on. Or at least just call them Wolves. The Washington Wolves. That sounds cool right there. So there you go. But again, to me, it's still all speculation. As far as I know, nothing is affirmed yet or cemented. But from the looks of it, I think it's going to be a done deal. At long last, Dan Snyder is going to be out and gone. And hopefully soon thrown in fucking jail where he will become someone's effing prison bitch. Or you know what? I don't think he would. Because I would think even those type of prisoners would have standards. Man, nah, you're bad. You're worse than me. And I've done some pretty bad shit. But I ain't fucking touching you, man. Nope, I like my dick the way it is. I ain't fucking touching you and risking everything falling apart. Oh, man. What a mouthful. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, and jumping back to where I was talking about all the NFC East teams and how they've still managed to be relevant since the days of Dan Snyder. I mean, hell, since he's taken over, my Eagles have pretty much been the kings of the NFC East, winning the most division titles, finally getting their first Super Bowl win. Granted, the Giants won 2 more Super Bowls, but still not as consistent as the Eagles have been. And then there are the Cowboys, who, yes, you guys continue to make noise every year, but, you either manage to make the playoffs or you just fall flat on your face. It's been the same formula for the past almost 3 decades. I mean, at some point, at some point, when does, the rest of the NFL decide, what, let's see if we can't dig up some dirt on the Jones family and force their hand to sell the Cowboys, because I get it. I don't want to compare Jerry Jones to Dan Snyder. I don't care for the guy because I'm an Eagles fan. But, at least he's more respected with his organization and the fan base around there. I can't say the same for the Cowboy fan base up here because every Cowboys fan I have ever spoken to hates his guts. Mainly because the Cowboys haven't won anything meaningful in, like I said, in nearly 3 decades. And while we're on the subject of Jones and the Cowboys, one of these articles stated that Jones may come to Snyder's potential aid. Whatever good that'll do if the rest of the league is against them. But I feel like for the sake of Jerry Jones and his family's reputation, as well as the reputation of the Dallas Cowboys, stay away from Snyder. That is a hot mess that you do not want any part of. Like, the Cowboys are a joke enough. You know, you always make noise, but you always choke when it matters, so you're all about the glitz and the glamour than you are about the glory. So the last thing you want is to have a tie-in with a royal hot mess like Dan Snyder. Like, you don't want that. It's like, Jerry, like, I don't care if you saw a whole nother side of Dan Snyder that nobody else has seen, and that's because you're a business tycoon. Read the writing on the wall. He's a bad person. Nobody wants to be associated with him. Just stay away from him, Jerry. For the sake of your reputation, your family, and the reputation of the Dallas Cowboys, stay away. All right? Do not help Snyder. He's dug his own fucking grave. I think maybe the least you can do is give him a mercy killing. That's about it. So, all right. Well, yeah, this has been a short video, but that's really all I got for now. So yeah, like I said, if you want a reminder on what sites to go look up, all the crap, whatever. Yeah, yeah. Let me get another drink. I'm getting parched again. Ugh. Okay, that's better. So yeah, again, a reminder, if you want to read more about this yourself, again, look up Sports Illustrated online and read the article by Albert Breer. Like, you shouldn't be able to miss it. It'll be like one of the first few things that pop up on Google or whatever search engine you use. CNBC.com from Alex Sherman and Jessica Golden. You know, just type in, like, you know, Dan Snyder. And finally, there's the Snyder timeline by the Sporting News. Well, just going down year by year, everything Dan Snyder has done to ruin that team. And yeah, I think that's all I've got for now. I want to get back to watching the Phillies and hopefully maybe go up 3-1, be 1 game away from winning their first World Series since 2008. I am a freaking nervous wreck about it because I just keep waiting for the wheels to fall off and the Astros to mount a comeback. I hope that doesn't happen because if everything goes the Phillies' way and they could potentially close the series out Thursday night, because at home, close it out Thursday night at home in Game 5, because here's the kicker, the Eagles are playing Thursday night in Houston. And we know that's a guaranteed win. The Eagles should beat the living fuck out of the Texans and will make a franchise best 8-0 start. And hopefully at the same time, the Phillies win their 3rd World Series. That would be fucking wild, and that city will fucking burn, and nobody will be able to sleep until Christmas. Or at least until Thanksgiving. I won't get crazy. But they might. All right. So, you know, you watch this video through and through. I thank you. If you like, give me a thumbs up. I'll appreciate it. Subscribe. That's always a plus for me. And if you got any pointers, if you got anything to critique, share with me. I'm open to constructive criticism because I'm pretty sure there's a lot you want to say to me. Alrighty, so hope y'all have a good night or a good morning or a good afternoon. Whatever time of the day it is you watch this, and from where or whenever, I wish you the best. Peace out.